Hey VC, what's going on? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is just going to be a haul video. A few things I brought in over the last week or so. I'm still kind of going through the same, you know, detailed inspecting every album and purging stuff that doesn't fit the new standard, if you will. And just like all the other videos, sold some stuff, got some money from that, and used it to purchase new stuff. So here's the latest new stuff. Couple really cool things about this haul. Well, number one, I well actually I'll come back to that in a minute. Anyway, there's one album that I did pick up that was one of those albums that when I first started collecting vinyl, it was one that I wished would have been on vinyl, and kind of before, especially this whole big reissuing thing that's been taking place over the last few years took place, and I was just kind of looking around at some stuff the other day after I made a sale. So I was like, oh, I got some money to buy some things. I started looking around, and this album just popped up, and I was like, holy cow, they finally issued it on vinyl. So that was definitely an exciting thing. So, but I think I'm getting pretty good at this purging things. Number one, it's hard for me to get rid of stuff. So by having kind of this standard of my collection now, it's been a lot easier to let some stuff go, if you will. And really being very picky about the stuff that I pick up as well. Hence, a great example is I actually walked out of the store the other day and realized I still had $71 of credit left that I didn't spend that day. And before, I couldn't imagine walking out of a record store with $70 of credit. So I think I'm starting to get this under control a little bit, which is kind of good. But let me just jump into the things that I picked up here. A couple weeks ago, I purged my copy of this, so I needed to get a replacement. And this is a nice 180 gram reissue. My old one was just kind of a little bit too rough. Rat Out of the Cellar, songs like Wanted Man and Round and Round, great stuff like that. So this is one that you must have in your collection at all times. Nice 180 gram reissue. This one here, Courtney Barnett. Sometimes I sit and think, sometimes I just sit. Yeah, sometimes I just sit, sometimes I get that mixed up. But yeah, I heard this in a record store one time. Guy was just kind of playing it, a couple really good songs on there. And so when I found it at half price books for only $6.99, I thought that's a great pickup. So that's a nice addition to the ladies in the collection. And here's that album I was telling you about that I was so happy to find was reissued. And a couple others that I really would like to have reissued as well. I used to feel this way about 10,000 Maniacs, Our Time in Eden, and then they reissued that, which was exciting. So now if they could get around to doing, let's see, what are some others? Concrete Blonde, Bloodletting. They so need to reissue that on vinyl. What else? If they would put Overkill Necroshine on vinyl, that's one I would really like to see. What else? And there's a number of things out there, but anyway, this is the one that I was so happy to see they actually put out on vinyl. K's Choice, Paradise in Me. This came out in 1995, I believe. Back when I was really into collecting CDs and stuff like that. And I remember getting the CD back then based on a song that I heard over the radio at work, or over our sound system thing at work. And it was the song Not an Addict. And it's just a really, really powerful song to me. And the thing that makes it so interesting for me is that throughout, like, I don't drink at all. Never drank, college, high school, anything. I don't smoke, and never done drugs or anything of that nature. So the song Not an Addict, it's really, really interesting that when I listen to that song, it actually makes me view or feel, I say not view, I don't change my views, but it actually gives the feeling of drug use being an extremely positive thing. And I've never really experienced that with any other song or anything of that nature. Because, typically for me throughout my lifetime, if someone ever tried to get me to drink, which a lot of my friends did, or try to get me to smoke or whatever the case may be, the impression that I got is you're trying to get me to do something stupid. You know that like most of my friends drink, and I don't have a problem with people drinking. I mean, I go out to the bars with them, and I have my Diet Coke, they have their whatever, and when we slap and say cheers, they just spill whiskey, I spill Diet Coke. So like I have no problem with that at all. But some element of stupidity comes into play when someone's like asking me to do it. Then all of a sudden, the thought of trying to get me to do it is stupidity. To me, it's like, how can you ask me to do the stupidest thing in the world? But I have no problem with anyone else doing it. It's just when you ask me, it feels stupid. So maybe that's something in me that's always kept me away from it and not feeling the peer pressure. But anyway, I'm kind of just saying all of that because for whatever reason, when I listen to this song, Not an Addict, it's just the opposite. It doesn't feel like stupid, it feels cool for whatever reason. So, however they pull that off, that's a pretty good deal. Um, Also there's funny songs and it's like Something's Wrong. The lyrics are kind of interesting on that. Um, so yeah, it's a 2 LP, only 3 sides. It is a green marble type vinyl, which really bothered me a little bit because you guys know how I feel about colored vinyl. But at the same time, screw it. They pressed it on vinyl, so I'll take it any way I can get it. So very happy to have that actually out on vinyl. The Cardigans, Love Fool. That's another one I wouldn't mind seeing on vinyl. Actually, that's not the name of the album, though, is it? Is that the name of the album? Anyway, I'll look it up later. Moving right along. Next, we're gonna go here to Little Richard, and this is the mono box set. Just kind of give you an idea about what you get there. And let's see here. Really cool box set too. I mean, obviously Little Richard is one of my favorites of all times. I definitely consider him one of the godfathers of rock and roll, right there with the late great Chuck Berry. I mean, geez, talk about something hitting you. Hearing that news the other day. Definitely in my mind one of the godfathers of rock and roll, as well as Jerry Lee Lewis, one of the godfathers of rock and roll. I mean, you can easily also insert Elvis Presley, you can insert Buddy Holly, but those are the 3 that I kind of considered that represented for me. So getting this set was really cool. And what comes inside of it is, here's Little Richard, his first album there, and of course here you have Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally, She's Got It, Rip It Up. Enough said. Fantastic album. And then you just have Little Richard, Good Golly Miss Molly, Keep It Knockin', all that great stuff. I'll give a quick flash at the back there. The Fabulous Little Richard. This is all on nice 180 gram black vinyl. Little Richard's back, and there's a whole lot of shaking going on. And Little Richard, his greatest hits, because they actually kind of added a greatest hits to the box set, which is nice. So really cool set. Knowing that you need to have Little Richard in your collection, and that's a nice way to get a good chunk of his work right there. So moving right along. The Cranberries, No Need to Argue. Another great addition there. With the hit Zombie and a few other songs like that. Another album I wish they would reissue. Everyone Else Is Doing It. Blah, blah, blah. Would love to have that reissued. I know it's been pressed before, but you try to find a copy of that, period, but then try to find it at a decent price. It doesn't really happen. And other ones I would like to see pressed, you got to put almost the entire Sundays, their catalog out there as well. They need to repress all of that stuff. So another one that I purged when I went through my ACDC collection, there were 2 LPs that I kind of pulled out that just weren't quite up to speed, and this was one of them. So I went ahead and used my credit to pick up a nice replacement copy of Let There Be Rock. And I also need a copy of If You Want Blood. That was another one that was a little bit too rough to keep. And speaking of Buddy Holly a minute ago, Buddy Holly Masterworks, just kind of a 2 LP greatest hit set. Doesn't have Crying, Waiting, Wanting on here, which is kind of disappointing because that's my favorite Buddy Holly song. But with the other hits that were on here, it was definitely worth the pickup, being marked down from $20.99 to $5.99. So really, really great pickup there. And if you have any of those half-price books in your area by any chance, you know, you always want to make sure you're going there on a regular basis, just kind of checking things, because when they purge, they really purge too. I mean, they don't do the little 10% markdown and all. I mean, like when they mark down, they take stuff from $24.99 like down to $12, down to $6. I mean, it's just so common. So I pop my head in there all the time. You just never know, and that's a perfect example right there. Another one that I didn't know that they had reissued, or they issued on vinyl, I don't think it's ever been issued before, is Miss Natalie, Left of the Middle. This came out in the, I think the mid-90s too. Is it 95, 96? 97 actually, I think. Yeah, 97. And again, this is not like this album's going to go down in history as the greatest album ever. But, you know, she had that hit song Torn off of this, and a few other songs that were pretty good. But it was a CD that I listened to quite a bit back then. And I really liked the video for Torn, so it kind of became one of those, you know, time-marking type of videos and songs and everything else. So to see this on vinyl, that was also a really great pickup, because I had no idea they had issued this. So that was another nice pickup, along with Celebrity Skin by Hole. Another classic album that I've wanted for a long time. You know, this one you have songs like Celebrity Skin, Awful, and a few other great things on here. But I've wanted this album for quite some time, but I could never understand. It's a single LP, it's not in the gatefold or anything like that. And every place I saw it, it was $29.99, $34.99. And I was just like, that's not a $35, $40 album. I'll just stick with the CD and blah, blah, blah. But, after I made some good sales last week, I was looking online, and a store that I go to quite a bit, in case you guys don't, it's a store called Import CDs is the name of the store, and you can typically find a lot of new vinyl that you want to buy about as cheap as you'll find it anywhere on eBay. And also sometimes they'll have sale things that will come through, and so last week they had any order over $60 total, an original cost over $60, you get 25% off. So then when they had this for only $24.99 and taking 25% off, I was like, okay, $18 record, yes, that's definitely worth it. And it was the same with that Kay's Choice and the Natalie and the Cranberries. So that was a really, really good purchase, and the Little Richard for that matter, all came from there with that sale. So keep an eye out there if you're someone that purchases new vinyl. Good place to check it out. Moving right along. Best of Traffic. Just kind of their, you know, a number of their hits and everything. Feeling Alright. Medicated Goo. Just good old Traffic stuff. Great condition too. That was a really nice find. I purged this a couple weeks ago, so I need to get a replacement copy. So this is Accept. Kazakuban there. This is these, you can see there, the Back on Black reissue. And again, this is one of the half-price books. I was just walking through, and boom, $6.99, brand new and sealed. I was like, screw that, gotta pick it up. So I'm glad I got that replaced a lot sooner than I thought I would. And last but not least, Journey's Greatest Hits. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this. 2 LP set, just all their great Steve Perry year stuff. And this album, again, just kind of promoting half-price books again. This past week they had these coupons out where on each day you got a certain percentage off your highest item, your one highest priced item. So it was like on Friday it was 40%, Saturday it was 40%, and Sunday it was 50%, right? So I used my Sunday 50% to go pick this up, because again, obviously it's a great classic album, all Journey's greatest hits. I'm sure almost everyone's familiar with it. a great album, but was it worth $29.99? You know, $30 to me? No. Have the CD, have plenty of Journey stuff. I'm not paying $30 for that. But you mark it down to $14.99, I'll take it. And so that's what happened this time as well. So I'm glad I held off on that too. And it was hard because there was a Selena album. I'm sure you guys know um, the Latin pop star Selena, who got killed a number of years ago and all that good stuff. They had a Selena Ones album, kind of her greatest hits and everything, and I'd really been wanting that album for quite some time, and it was marked at $27.99. And I always thought, it's like, I'm not paying $30 for that, but at some point in time, they're gonna have a sale, and and this was the sale, and the Selena album was still there. But I thought, God, I want that Journey album too. So I was like holding both of them, debating, huh, 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 and I finally decided this is gonna get a lot more of a spin than that Selena will. So I'll just have to pick that up some other time. Besides, there's another greatest hits out that I saw online that I think is actually a nicer pressing with different cover art and stuff. I think I might actually want more so. So anyway, so yeah, there you go. So anyway, there you go, VC. Kind of the next haul with the Great Purge, and I have about maybe 15, 20 records I'm going to take in tomorrow, and so we'll see kind of what I get for that, and you know, get ready for the next recent find videos after this week of purging. So, yeah, let me know what you think as always, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.